All right, guys, this is Tech Talk 101. I see a lot of people asking and wondering in my personal life and even online, what it takes to work in IT. I work for a tier one company. I'm not going to say which one, but it's, highly regarded. If I asked 1,000 people in the United States, if you've heard of this company, uh, 999 would say yes. All right, first and foremost. Now, I'm a system engineer. Basically, I do infrastructure, virtualization, hosting, OS, Windows, and things like this. Basically, I manage, a lot of servers, application servers, um, and different things and operations of this, how data flows through each one, um, user access, tier three, patch, management, of course, um, operations side, always keeping, the necessary logs, details, and blah, blah, blah. But basically, it's just the ins and out of an infrastructure engineer. So the five things that I say, um, I think that helped me in this industry, and that I think every top tier performer has, and they're amazing at doing is these five things. That's what I've seen. Okay, number one is setting expectation to your clients. So number one, that's like basically a type of honesty and truthfulness, and understanding how this problem will be solved or how the solution is going to form, and setting real expectations. One thing that will kill you in this industry is failing your expectations. If this project is going to take you a week, a day, a month, 3 months, half a year, say it up front to your key stakeholders, to the executive team, to the management team. Always be upfront about the expectation. You'll find that a lot of people, when they start off, they set these unrealistic expectations. They'll say, "I can get this done in a day," and you might be able to get this done in a day. Like this application build, but it's going to have issues. Period. You're going to you have a issue with uh, an OU and servers, maybe with SCCM sending out patches, and you have to do each one, and a few are failing. You say, "Hey, I'll get this done by the end of the day." It's not done by the end of the day. Um, at these high tier organizations and companies, they're going to remember this. So always set a proper expectation. Hey, you might not win fans, but they'll never say you didn't do what you said. And that's number one. Always do what you say and set the expectation in the beginning. Number two, I learned this early, is time management. Okay, if I mean, this is mainly if you're just starting out, you're entry level, and you learn that time management is essential. Let's say you're working at a help desk or desktop support, and don't waste time on the small things. Get the core of the issue, problem, project done, and then worry about the little nuances later. This is very important. This is so important. Time management. Three, logic. Always, always, always have a good sense of logic when you're in this game. Meaning, don't let one problem turn into five problems. Remember what you're doing. If you're in PowerShell executing root commands, always make sure that you're not, deleting an OU from Active Directory. I've seen somebody do it before. Fortunately, we had everything backed up. It took a while for us to back up everything, and I think like hundreds of users couldn't access um, the network domain, and it was an issue. The guy didn't get fired though because he was still a high performer. It was just that it was an accident. It happens. But cut back on accidents. So always make sure what you're doing is follows a system of logic, and don't create more problems for yourself. And always keep tabs of your work. If I'm doing some type of tier three troubleshooting, or some type of or solving some issues that are affecting a few servers, and that are like 0 day vulnerabilities, and I have to get these done immediately, I don't create more work for myself, right? I log everything I do basically, so that I know what I did, so I can turn off, turn back on, execute some code, or do anything that I previously did, or redo it. That's always important. You don't want to have vulnerability, create more vulnerabilities for yourself. You don't want to be executing commands in unrestricted, or have the entire scope, if you're running PowerShell, for all users. Execute unrestricted commands. People will find out. They'll find out for sure if your logic isn't sound. And always clean up your work. Always clean up your work. If you're an Active Directory or anything like this, always clean it up. Don't leave things hanging. I know that people are gonna say, well, GPOs update when you log in, or start with a PC, but like still, you never know who's watching. You never know if somebody's gonna if this is gonna affect something or some process down the line. So always have a system of logic in place. Correct your errors, redo things if you have to, and always check. If you're looking at like what was overstack or stack flow, or any online knowledge base, don't just run commands from there. Check with have a window open that has 10 pages, and check the commands, check the resolutions, check and make sure that this is actually a viable method. For example, in my former jobs, I didn't just run commands for Active Directory and PowerShell, right? Like I made sure that these were like solid, and that I checked, because even though we had this amazing Cronus data backup that did the replicated data, what was it, like once an hour. So it was really good, really good. So you can just load back from the Cronus software if necessary. But still, I still made sure that I was making clean, effective resolutions, code, and scripting smart. That's very important. Don't get caught with your pants down. Seriously. Seriously, if you want to get it at the top organizations, yes, it matters. Have a system of logic. Always record everything you do, and I take logs. If everything I do, I have some type of log usually. No matter what, because sometimes some people try to catch you sometimes, and you have to let people know that no, I have everything covered, and I covered my rear end. For efficiency, and that's another important topic. Efficiency, to be as efficient as possible in your workflow. So, for example, just say you have 10 things you do for the day. 5 of the things are going to take 2 hours. One thing is going to take 10 minutes. Another thing is going to take 30 minutes. And the rest could take you all day. Do not work on the things that's going to take you all day first. Do not, I repeat, do not do that ever. All right? People would when you have obligations to your company, to your team, to your manager, to your boss, get the things that can be done immediately. So in my workflow, and I've always worked like this, I personally will knock out the things that are easiest. Boom. So if it takes me 2 hours to get 5 out of 10 tasks done, 3 hours, I get those 5 tasks done, no matter what it is. And then I get any stragglers that can take me less than an hour. And then I work on the problems. They can't take me all day, 2 days, or even 3 days. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll feel a lot of stress and pressure. And then when your boss or manager asks, "What have you been doing?" You'll say, "I was working on this problem for the last 3 days." Okay, what about your other stuff? "Oh, I didn't get it done." They're gonna say, "Well, are you like serious?" No, get it done first and work on the other thing. If your manager or boss micromanages, and if you're a manager, even more so, efficiency matters. And 5, communication. This kind of ties into step 1, and that's always setting that proper expectation for your workflow. In communication, just being honest, upfront, direct, and don't ramble. Don't ramble. Don't say, "Okay, so I was solving this, and the passwords are going through, so I did this, and then I did B, and then I did C, and then I did D." Don't do that. Nobody likes that. Don't You're trying to. People think that's kind of like a little condescending. Now, if you're on a technical call with your teammate, and your manager, your direct supervisor, okay, they probably want to know that, But if you're in an email chain and you're tagged with different departments, different teams, and it's over 5 people, don't kill the conversation with too much. Say what the problem is, say what you're doing, and say maybe a few steps on how you're solving it, and go over it. But effective communication is key. I can't count the amount of times I've been given just a data dump of logs, of scripts, of resolutions, of potential resolutions, and it's just overwhelming for everybody involved, And then you have one person respond, another person responds, then one person responds to the first person that responded, then that person responds to the second person. It's inefficient, and it's bad communication. All right, and especially nowadays with such a remote work culture, you definitely want to take advantage of things like Teams and starting channels, starting like group chats, so and having meetings with like your direct teammates, and then you solve the solutions together. Otherwise, you're gonna run into issues when you're the VP, the executives don't want to see a data dump, you know, of you saying everything that you're doing, blah blah blah. Why isn't this done? Why isn't this 0 day patch? Blah blah blah. They don't want to hear that, man. They just want to say, what are the steps? Is it done? If not, okay, when will it be done? Literally, or when is it going to be done, and why isn't it done? That's what they want to hear. All right. So those were the 5 steps. I'm going to re-clarify all of them. Number one, setting your expectation to your clients, to your team, and to your just everybody involved in the process. Number two, time management. Three, logic. Always having a system of logic in place, okay? And never bite off more than you can chew. And then remember, everything you do, write it down if necessary. Four, efficiency. Work efficiently, okay? Get the bulk of tasks done. Get the work done, and then worry about anything lingering. Sorry about that. Five, communication. Staying in constant, not in constant, but always making sure all key stakeholders are aware of everything that's going on. All right? This is Tech Talk 101. Have a great day. Subscribe if you've made it here. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, have a good one.